periods of excessive heat that persist for 3 days or more. A study released by the South African Medical Research Council reveals that infants, the elderly, people with disabilities, and pregnant women are most vulnerable to heat strokes. It's also believed that heat waves cause irritability, which leads to gender-based violence, among others.
We need to know how the environmental factors are affecting human health. I think it's very imperative to do those kinds of studies because create awareness and advise the government accordingly. It's an ongoing research, and it's been years, and it's different studies. It's not just one study, but at the end, we took years of research and put it together just to see what's been happening over the years.
Heat strokes come in 3 stages if it's not treated. Firstly, dehydration, then heat exhaustion, followed by a heat stroke. Precautionary measures for those outdoors need to be taken. So what exactly happens when you suffer a heat stroke? Let's have a look. Firstly, a file is opened at the hospital. After that, you are assessed. Depending on the assessment, you will either be transferred to a general unit or an emergency unit. If needs be, you will be hospitalized.
We have been seeing a lot more cases recently because of our heat stroke, because of the recent heat wave that's been happening. However, we haven't had extreme cases yet in our area. But the things that we would be looking out for is if somebody comes in and they are having a body temperature that's above 40 degrees, for example, when we measure it. People who may be presenting with neurological symptoms. So if they're coming in, they're confused.
The climate change bill before Parliament aims to develop an effective long-term climate change response.
If you look at our climate change and health adaptation plan, it's a plan that is led by the Department of Health, but you've got all other stakeholders involved, all departments, research institutions, institutions of higher learning, municipalities, provinces, and members of the organized structures of the community who are participating in these structures.
However, some say they were not consulted about the bill.
We missed the period for public participation. It wasn't advertised or nobody on the normal platforms that they use. So we couldn't participate and make them aware of these additional risks. But I've gone through it, and what I see, no, it's definitely not a good bill for us at the end of the day. It's not going to help. It's specific relation to cities and city folk.
Meanwhile, an investigation is currently underway into the deaths of 8 farm workers who died due to heat stroke in Kakamas 2 weeks ago. The Department of Labour says they need to handle the matter with sensitivity and will release a report on the findings. Reginald Witboy, SABC News, Kimberley.